Don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop a comment, because once you step into this darkness, you'll want every warning you can get. The body lay half buried in snow, the wind sweeping over it like a final whisper of silence. It was just past 4 a.m. when the first emergency call came in, an anonymous voice trembling, saying only one sentence before hanging up, "There's another one by the fjord." Detective Erika Halderson had been asleep for less than 2 hours when her phone vibrated violently on the nightstand. She already knew what it meant. There hadn't been a murder in the quiet coastal town of Bergsund for almost a decade, until last month. And now the crimes were coming like winter storms, sudden, vicious, and unrelenting. They had no patterns. No motives. Just a signature left carved in the snow near the bodies. A crude shape resembling a northern star, drawn with 2 lines crossing at a harsh angle. Locals called the perpetrator the Nordic Night Stalker, a name the media embraced before the police could give one single press briefing. By the time Erika arrived at the fjord, the area was drowned in blue lights and the bitter air smelled of metallic cold. Officers had already taped off a wide perimeter. A few onlookers gathered despite the hour, their faces pale, breath visible in the freezing air. She crouched beside the body, a woman in her late 20s, blonde hair crystallized with frost. Her coat was torn, one boot missing, and beneath the layer of snow covering her torso, faint bruises peeked through. But what caught Erika's attention wasn't the body itself. It was the absence of footprints around it. The wind could have covered some tracks, yes, but not all of them. It was as if the victim had appeared out of nowhere, delivered silently into the snow. "Time of death?" she asked. "Between 11 and 1, replied forensic tech Jonas Strand, adjusting his gloves. "Ligature marks. But that's not the strange part." He pointed toward a small indentation near the victim's outstretched hand. Not a footprint, something heavier, deeper. Round, like the base of a heavy metal pole or cane. Erika frowned. The killer was escalating. Getting bolder. Or perhaps, more confident that he would never be caught. As the body was being lifted onto the stretcher, something slipped from the victim's coat pocket, a folded piece of paper sealed inside a small plastic pouch. Jonas picked it up. "We didn't put this here." Erika unfolded it. Inside was a photograph. A blurry image taken from what appeared to be a security camera. A man wearing a dark hood, walking under a streetlight. His head slightly turned, revealing only his jawline and a faint scar near his chin. But the back of the photograph was worse. Someone had written a message in neat, precise handwriting. "You're looking in the wrong direction." Her pulse tightened. This wasn't just a murder. It was a taunt. By sunrise, the town of Bergsund was stirring with angry whispers and fearful speculation. News drones buzzed above rooftops. The crime scene had become the top story across Scandinavian networks before breakfast. Erika sat in the cramped briefing room at the precinct, flipping through files. Her partner, Detective Lucas Meyer, placed 2 steaming cups of coffee on the table. "Third victim in 5 weeks, he muttered. "And now he's sending you notes? What, are you his favorite detective?" "It's not funny," she said, though a thin smile betrayed her exhaustion. "He wants attention. Or respect. Or both." Lucas leaned back, rubbing his eyes. "What about the ID on the victim?" "Name's Annette Solberg. Tourist from Denmark. Came here 2 days ago. Stayed at a hostel near the harbor. So no connection to the last 2 victims. None that we've found." Erika stood and paced. But all 3 were killed between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. All found in isolated areas. All left with the same symbol drawn nearby. "That's not random." Lucas nodded slowly. "What about that photograph? Maybe it was planted to distract us. Or to guide us," she replied. "He said we're looking in the wrong direction." "Meaning what? Wrong suspect? Wrong motive? Wrong location?" Jonas entered the room holding a sealed evidence bag. Inside was the torn fabric from Annette's coat. "You're going to want to see this," he said. Under the bright ceiling lights, faint but unmistakable, was a smudge of residue, dark, grainy, almost oily. "Chemical?" Lucas asked. "Industrial-grade lubricant," Jonas replied. "The kind used in shipyards, loading docks, or heavy machinery." Erika's eyes narrowed. "The harbor. It fits the timeline," Jonas said. "If she was last seen at her hostel, the harbor's the only direction she could have walked before the attack." "And he wants us to go there," Erika whispered. "Or he thinks we won't." Their eyes met. They knew what had to be done. The harbor was mostly quiet by mid-morning, with only a handful of workers repairing nets and unloading crates. Massive ships loomed like sleeping giants, their hulls slick with frost. Erika scanned the area. Rusted cranes. Stacked containers. Locked warehouses that hadn't been touched in years. That was when she saw it. A faint chalk marking on the corner of a shipping container. The same North Star symbol the killer left near the bodies. She approached cautiously, hand resting on her holster. Lucas followed, eyes sweeping the surroundings. The symbol pointed toward a narrow path between containers, the snow packed down unusually flat, as if someone had walked through it repeatedly. They followed it until the path ended at a container with a heavy padlock. Fresh scratches surrounded the lock, suggesting it had been opened recently. Lucas exhaled, fog forming in the icy air. Someone's been here. Erika's breath slowed. Her heartbeat didn't. She ran her hand across the metal. Cold, but not freezing. Someone had touched it today. Should we get a warrant? Lucas asked. We don't have time, she said. If he's storing something, we need to know now. She motioned for Jonas, who had followed them from the station with bolt cutters. With one firm snap, the padlock fell to the ground. Erika and Lucas exchanged a glance. The kind of glance detectives give when they know the next few seconds might change everything. Erika pulled the container door open. A rush of cold air spilled out. She stepped inside. And froze. On the far wall was an entire collage, photographs of every victim, maps of the town, printed CCTV stills, scribbles of notes, dates, and times. Strings connecting faces to locations. But worst of all were the pictures on the far right. Not victims. Pictures of her. Taken through windows. Across streets. From the police parking lot. Her face circled in red ink. A single sentence was scrawled above the collage. You were never the hunter. Erika staggered backward, breath sharp and shallow. This wasn't a clue. It was a declaration. And whoever had made it was watching them long before they ever realized they were being watched. Behind her, Lucas whispered, Erika, you need to see this. She turned. There was a second door inside the container. Small. Metal. Locked from the outside. A smear of blood staining its bottom edge. Lucas reached for the handle. But when they opened the locked door, what they found changed everything. The hinges groaned as the small metal door swung inward, releasing a thick breath of stale air. The room beyond was barely larger than a walk-in closet, dimly lit by a single overhead bulb that flickered like it was struggling to stay alive. Erika stepped forward, boots echoing on the metal floor. The first thing she saw was the chair. Heavy. Bolted down. Straps still hanging loosely from its arms. A faint residue of dried blood stained the seat, dark and clotted. On the floor beneath it, a long metal chain coiled like a snake waiting to strike. But the worst discovery lay on the wall opposite the chair. A row of photographs, dozens of them, each one showing a person who hadn't been identified in the investigation. Men, women, young and old. Some looked European. Some looked like tourists. Others had the hollow eyes of people who had been missing for far longer than the police had realized. Lucas stepped beside her and swallowed hard. These aren't the 3 victims we know about. No, Erika whispered. These are something else. The photos were dated. Some from last month. Some from last year. One from nearly 4 years ago. This can't be right, Lucas said. We would have seen the patterns. The reports. That's the point, Erika cut in. These weren't reported. Or if they were dismissed. Misfiled. Buried. Her voice hardened. Intentionally. Lucas stared at her. Are you suggesting someone inside the system is? I don't know, she said. But whoever did this has been operating far longer than we thought. She took a step closer to the wall and noticed something else, an empty space at the end of the row. A rectangle of clean metal where a photo had once been taped. The tape edges were still fresh. Someone took one down recently, she said. Jonas, who had remained by the container entrance, called out, Detectives? You need to see this. Now. Erika and Lucas backed out of the hidden room. Jonas pointed to the snow just outside the container. Fresh prints, 2 sets, leading away from the site. One heavy, dragging slightly. The other lighter, close behind. Someone was here, Jonas said. Not long ago. The cold wind hissed through the harbor, and instinctively, Erika turned toward the row of shipping crates that formed an alley a few meters away. For a second, just a second, she saw a shape move. A figure. Tall. Hooded. Watching. Before she could shout, the figure darted behind a stack of containers and vanished. Go! Erika yelled. They gave chase, boots pounding on the frozen ground. The harbor echoed with their footsteps as they tore around corners, weaving between towering steel crates. The air was razor-sharp, burning their lungs, but adrenaline drove them. Lucas rounded the corner first, gun drawn. He went this way. Another turn. Another empty stretch. Another shadow shifting. Erika caught a glimpse of a hand disappearing behind a warehouse door. She reached it and slammed it open, flooding darkness with daylight. The warehouse was silent except for the sway of hanging chains and the distant groan of the sea. Dust particles floated like tiny ghosts suspended in the cold air. "He's here," Erika breathed. They searched the warehouse row by row, their flashlights cutting through the shadows. But each corner revealed only emptiness, crates, tarps, abandoned machinery. Then, suddenly, Lucas stopped. "Erika, over here." He was staring at the floor. At a single footprint, wet, detailed, unmistakably fresh. Erika approached cautiously. The footprint was small. Too small for the towering figure they had chased seconds ago. "This isn't the same person," Lucas said. "No," Erika replied. "It's someone else. Someone he brought with him." The realization made her skin crawl. The killer wasn't alone. She stood slowly, scanning the darkness. The warehouse seemed to press in around them, suffocating. "We need to get out," she said. "He's playing with us." As if on cue, a loud clang echoed from the back of the warehouse, a metal pipe hitting the ground. They spun toward the sound, weapons raised, hearts in their throats. But the noise was a distraction. Erika heard something else behind them. The warehouse door, a heavy steel slab, was slowly closing. "Move," she shouted. They sprinted, but the door slammed shut just as they reached it, plunging them into complete darkness. Lucas cursed. Jonas jiggled the handle. But it locked from the outside. Solid. "He's hurting us," Lucas said. "He knew we'd come here." Erika's pulse thundered. "He wants us trapped." A faint buzzing sound filled the air, rhythmic and steady. "What is that?" Jonas asked. Erika turned toward the back of the warehouse. As her eyes adjusted, she noticed small red lights blinking from the rafters. Not lights. Infrared sensors. Then she saw the device attached to them. A trigger mechanism wired to something overhead. Her blood ran cold. "Everyone stay still," she ordered. But it was too late. A loud whirring noise echoed from the ceiling, followed by a snap. Something heavy shifted above them. Metal scraping against metal. Jonas whispered, "Oh God." Suspended by thick chains was a massive industrial hook used for lifting containers, swaying slowly as if preparing to fall. "Back up," Erika said. Slowly. They retreated toward the wall, careful not to cut through the beams of the motion sensors. The hook swung more wildly now, creaking ominously. The warehouse echoed with a loud metallic groan. Erika held her breath. The hook dropped. But instead of falling onto them, it crashed to the floor several meters away, close enough to send a shockwave through their bodies, shaking the building. Dust rained from the rafters. A cloud of frost exploded from the impact. "That wasn't meant to kill us," Lucas said, coughing. "Just scare us. Or warn us," Jonas added. Erika stared at the fallen hook. It had smashed a crate beneath it. A wooden crate now split open, revealing its contents. She stepped closer and froze. Inside were dozens of cell phones. Wallets. IDs. Personal belongings. Items belonging to every one of the victims in the photos. And one more item, resting at the top. Her badge. Lucas's eyes widened. "Erika, that was in your office." She lifted it with shaking fingers. "Cold. Recently placed. An intrusion too close to ignore." "He's been inside the station," she whispered. "Inside our building. Watching every step of the investigation." The air thickened with dread as the implications sank in. The killer wasn't just ahead of them. He was among them. A loud metallic click came from the warehouse entrance, and the door began to open on its own. Cold daylight spilled in. Erika's breath halted. Pinned to the outside of the warehouse door, fluttering in the wind, was another photograph. Of a man. Bound to a chair. Alive. Terrified. Dated today. Lucas stepped beside her. "Who is that?" Erika stared at the face. Her stomach twisted. "It's Chief Inspector Rolf Nisted," she said quietly. "Their commanding officer. Her mentor." And beneath the photo, a message. "If you want him back, come alone." Erika felt the world tilt. Lucas spoke softly. "You know this is a trap." "I know," she said. "But traps only work on prey." The sky was dark long before sunset, clouds hanging low above the fjord like a heavy lid pressed against the world. Snow drifted sideways in thin, frantic flurries. The harbor was eerily silent, no workers, no traffic, no signs of life. Just cold, empty stillness. Erika stood alone near the water's edge, the photograph of Chief Inspector Rolf Nisted clenched in her gloved hand. Lucas and Jonas had begged her not to follow the instructions. Her commanding officer had insisted protocol mattered more than emotion. But protocol didn't bleed. Protocol didn't scream in the dark. Protocol certainly wasn't bound to a chair somewhere, eyes full of terror. The message was clear: come alone. She scanned her surroundings. Containers stacked like tombs. Warehouses looming like sleeping giants. Shadows deep enough to swallow a person whole. She drew a breath and whispered, "I'm here." A soft crackle answered her. Her police radio, turned on even though she'd left it clipped inside the patrol car a few blocks away, came to life with a distorted voice. Detective Halderson. Her blood turned to ice. It was him. The Nordic Night Stalker. You've been busy, the voice said through static. Calm. Measured. Unhurried. But you still don't understand. What do you want? Erika asked. A faint chuckle. I want to show you the truth. The radio clicked off. Before she could react, a sharp metallic clang echoed behind her. Erika spun around, hand on her holster. A single container door had unlocked itself, pushed open an inch, swinging gently in the winter wind. Inside, darkness waited. Erika raised her flashlight and stepped in. The beam cut through the shadows, illuminating a narrow tunnel between towering stacks of wooden pallets. The smell hit her: oil, cold metal, and something else underneath. Something faintly rotten. Rolf, she called. No answer. She moved deeper into the space. Her footsteps echoed too loudly. The container was longer than normal, extended deliberately by cutting into the one behind it. Someone had rebuilt it from the inside out. Her flashlight caught something on the floor. A glove. Black leather. Familiar. Rolf's. She crouched, picking it up. The leather was warm. He was close. Too close. A sudden sound, a soft scrape, came from behind her. She spun, gun raised, heart pounding hard enough to echo in her ears. No sudden moves, a voice said from the darkness. He stepped into the beam of her flashlight. Tall. Hooded. Wearing a dark coat dusted with snow. His hands empty. His stance relaxed, almost casual. His face partly obscured by shadow, except for the scar near his chin. The same one from the photograph. You've been following me, he said calmly. Good. I was starting to wonder if you'd stopped caring. Where is he? Erika demanded. Where's Rolf? The man smiled faintly. Alive. For now. Show me. In time, he said. First, you need to understand why this is happening. I don't need your explanations. Oh, but you do, he said, stepping closer. Erika steadied her aim, but he didn't flinch. Because this is bigger than you think. Her grip tightened. Don't move. He stopped. Then raised his hand slightly, not surrendering, but inviting her attention. You think I chose these victims at random. I didn't. And I didn't choose you at random either. She kept her weapon trained on him. What do you mean? Your mentor, he said softly, isn't the man you think he is. Erika's jaw clenched. You're lying. I hoped you would be smarter, he said. But I suppose denial is easier. She stepped closer, voice sharp. If you hurt him. The man tilted his head. He's already hurt. But not by me. The words hit her like a blow she wasn't ready for. The man reached into his coat slowly, carefully. She tensed. Easy, he breathed. If I wanted to kill you, you'd already be dead. He withdrew a folder and tossed it at her feet. Inside were documents. Photos. Reports. All signed by Rolf Nisted. All connected to unsolved disappearances over the last 5 years. And one more thing. A surveillance photo of Rolf meeting with a woman Erika recognized from the hidden wall of victims inside the shipping container. Her breath caught. What is this? The truth, the man said. I didn't kill them. He did. Erika felt the world tilt again, this time dangerously. No, she said. Rolf has been my mentor for 12 years. He's protected this town longer than you've been breathing. He protected himself, the man replied. He used the uniform as a shield. People trusted him. People believed him. He stepped closer, and this time Erika didn't move away. Ask yourself, detective. How did he arrive first to every missing person's call? How did he intercept every complaint? Why were all the reports buried? Stop, she said. Deep down, he whispered, you already know. Erika's thoughts spiraled. The misfiled paperwork. The missing surveillance footage. The unexplained delays. The reason the Night Stalker always seemed one step ahead. Because someone was feeding him information. Someone inside the station. Her chest tightened like a vice. Where is he? She asked again, this time barely audible. The man stepped back and pointed behind him. Erika raised her flashlight. At the far end of the extended container was another door. Heavy. Reinforced. A faint thud came from inside. Muffled. A voice. Weak. Erika. Her heart stopped. She ran toward the door. The man didn't move to stop her. She grabbed the handle and pulled, but it wouldn't budge. It was locked from the outside. Help me, she yelled. The hooded man approached and inserted a key into the lock. The door swung open. Erika's flashlight beam revealed a room even smaller than the previous one. A single chair. Chains. And Rolf, her mentor, bound, gagged, shivering, blood trailing from his forehead. Her heart broke and hardened at the same time. She rushed to him. "Rolf! I'm here." He looked up at her, eyes desperate. But something was off. Something in his stare wasn't fear. It was fury. "Step back," the hooded man warned. Erika turned sharply. "Why? He needs help." "No," the man said. "He needs to be stopped." Rolf struggled, gag muffling his voice. And then Erika saw it. On the table beside him, barely visible in the dim light, was a knife smeared with dried blood. Below it, a ledger with names she recognized from the wall. Her stomach clenched. Rolf wasn't a captive. He was cornered. And the hooded man wasn't the killer. He was the survivor. Rolf lunged suddenly, knocking the chair sideways, chains rattling violently. The gag slipped. His voice erupted in a guttural scream. "He's lying. Erika, shoot him. Shoot him now." The hooded man stepped away, hands raised. "He'll kill you the moment he's free. That's what he does. That's what he's always done." Rolf thrashed harder. "I protected you. I made your career. You owe me." Erika froze, caught between loyalty and evidence, between instinct and horror. Rolf's voice cracked, desperation surfacing like a wounded animal. "Erika, help me." The hooded man spoke softly. "You know the truth. Look at him." She did. For the first time, she truly looked. Rolf's expression wasn't the expression of an innocent man. It was hatred. It was rage. It was fear of being exposed. Her hands trembled. Her breath shook. "Erika," he snarled, "don't you dare." Her finger tightened on the trigger. 1 second stretched into eternity. Then, a distant siren wailed outside. "Back up. Lucas. Jonas." Everything snapped into motion. The hooded man bolted into the darkness. Rolf lunged again, screaming threats that no longer sounded human. And Erika. Erika stepped back, lowered her gun, and whispered, "It's over." When Lucas and Jonas burst into the container minutes later, they found Rolf bound, raging, denying everything, then begging, then cursing Erika's name. Evidence covered every surface. Victims identified. Motives revealed. A decade of secrets crumbling. But the hooded man was gone. Vanished into the storm. Later, after the chaos finally settled, Erika stood alone outside, snow settling on her shoulders. The harbor was silent again. On her car windshield was a single note, neatly folded, secured under her wiper blade. She opened it. "You made the right choice. But the darkness isn't done with this town. I'll be watching. And if you need me, you know where to look." No signature. Just a symbol. The Northern Star. Drawn not as a threat, but as a promise. Erika exhaled, a long, cold breath disappearing into the night. The case was closed. But the story wasn't over. If you think this one was intense, you're not ready for what comes next. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it.